Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the weekly show with Aditya, India's number one podcast, with India's number one host, Aditya. Coming to you live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. In association with Dusra.net, the number one website in sports, education, and entertainment. This is episode 52 on the 3rd of April 2019. The time by the studio clock is 10:45 am and I am your award-winning host and the best in the world, Aditya. Mobile phones, a device with which we've had a love-hate relationship over the past 2 decades. Ever since this piece of metal came into our lives, it has changed us dramatically. When it was introduced in 96 and 97, the design and sleekness of the mobiles were not even a factor to be considered with. Nor was it thought to be the source of all evil. Rather, it became the source of being connected to everyone outside one's home and offices. This did lead to the slow demise of the public telephone booths. Just like the televisions in the 50s and 60s, this device was a luxury and not a necessity. There was no internet provision to connect with. In its first 10 years, it was only an extension of the landline. We were not really gloating about this device. Pagers were still a rage at that time. Internet had penetrated India, but not in what we call the mobile data version. Now we see it as a source of depression, headache, distraction, though we tend to exude pride that every individual in the world on the planet has possession of this device. As more and more companies started coming through, the monopoly of a single company was getting diminished. And lo and behold, after 13 years, what we have is a superfluity of mobile and internet companies. Over the years, as the companies gained more experience, the design changed. It was not a piece of luxury anymore, but a prerequisite for an individual to be called a member of the 21st and 22nd century. The negativities associated with it poured on like a deluge. As time passed by, it became from a simple calling device and we prefixed the word smart to it, and now this is called a smartphone. I did not own a mobile phone unless I went to college. Now, students in high school are given mobile phones so that they can remain connected with people at home, as these individuals fly off to tuitions directly from schools. And the debate on this issue keeps getting even murkier. One school of thought supports that students should be given these mobile phones as they need to stay in touch, and this school of thought includes the parents and students as well. The other school of thought would include psychiatrists and psychologists who would go on the rhetoric that giving mobile devices to students in school is akin to pampering and spoiling the student. Instead of focusing on their studies, this school of thought says that students would brandish their mobile phones in the school and distract the class. It is indeed a perplexing situation. Since those huge mobile phones which came over 20 years ago are now extinct, and we as humans have a habit of calling everything that is now extinct vintage, these mobile phones are now also going to be in the vintage category. It won't be surprising if we as humans, worn out with the contemporary models, would yearn for those, and I quote, simpler models to come back. Just like as we are of the models and the designs of the television today. Though I believe that landlines still have a role to play, and it would be a smart initiative by the authorities if we can have public telephone booths. Despite individuals owning mobile phones, we never associated the word waste with mobile phones 20-25 years ago. But as is the fickle minded nature of humans, anything that sports a danger should be discarded. The human tendency to marvel at things for a while and then suddenly discard it is our specialty. Trust the WWE to come up with outrageous means to promote their events. To market the women's main event match, the WWE administration went as far as feigning a arrest for the three women wrestlers. They do it in a manner that the thin line between reality and fiction is diminished. Despite being a live event, it is a scripted TV program, but unlike TV shows which are recorded and then we see it, the presentation is done so beautifully that it is difficult to know what is happening and what is actually just a figment of one's imagination. In TV shows, depending on the genre, we do see animosities between individuals depending on the need of the script. We are aware that in TV shows, what we see as bullets are not actual bullets but just an artificial rendering of the same. There are fight scenes in TV shows, and the individuals, the protagonist, the antagonist also shed blood, though we are aware that this blood is also a artificial construction. And as always, the actors are given stage name in both these genres. But in WWE or in any similar wrestling program, when we see punches and kicks by the wrestlers, it becomes a goosebump moment, and we feel that how in the world are these people bashing each other in such a violent manner. Though we see the same in TV shows, but the TV show we know is a TV show and there are no actual bloodsheds, but the wrestling programs give us a different meaning to the word violence. It is not actual violence, but itself the presentation of what is happening on the ground. Yes, accessories have been used by wrestlers like tables and ladders and chairs and slamming the wrestler into the security ring post. Though unlike the TV shows, the use of guns and knives are not even in the frame. Extreme examples would include when Kane and Undertaker, yes, it is not their real name but a stage name, when Kane and Undertaker were relatively young and a rage over 22 years ago. One has seen the use of caskets as an accessory for one wrestler to bury the other wrestler to win a match. The use of cement machines Ambulances have also been an important props in defining the animosity between two wrestlers. Unlike movies and TV shows where we are aware that during those stunts the actors either have a body double that is specially trained stunt performance as well as using safety harnesses while performing those maneuvers. But no such luxury exists for these wrestlers, and everything they do is without any kind of safety net or using a body double. The lesson here to be learned is that we should appreciate the effort by the wrestlers, but we should not wince at points when we see them being badly beaten up and follow the rule when we tend to maintain a distance from the TV shows. So, if you want to be a part of my show, please send your valuable suggestions and send your recordings on topics ranging from sports, education, and entertainment on the email ID adityathewriter at gmail.com. That is adityathewriter at gmail.com. Thank you for listening to this episode. Please like and subscribe to my Facebook page and YouTube channel and stay tuned for the next episode.